Good evening, listeners in Guyana and globally. We ask that you remember President Jimmy Carter in your prayers as he is receiving hospice treatment at their residence in Atlanta, Georgia. Today is the 26th anniversary of the death of His Excellency Dr. Cheddi Jagan, who died earlier this morning, 26 years ago, at the Walter Reed Hospital. So our prayers are with him and encouragement for all Guyanese to visit the Red House where his research center is, and it's open Monday to Friday. Also, on the 20th of February was His Excellency Lyndon Forbes Sampson Burnham 100th birthday anniversary. So a strong encouragement for all to visit his research center, which is in the South Renville Gardens, and they're open 7 days a week. Both centers' information are available in the website. Ladies and gentlemen, on the 24th of February was the first anniversary of this crisis with Russia and Ukraine. China arrived with a 12-point peace plan, and that is currently being reviewed. My back channels to Russia told me that the Russia had a peace plan which was not circulated in the Western world since around July, August last year. And I was also told in back channel that most of the European unions agreed with the Russian plan, but they say the United States did not agree, and that plan did not find the light of day. During October, the Ukrainians had a 10-point peace plan. I was privy to a copy of that, and it was circulated about 2 weeks after, and that went through its review process, and nothing major other than back channels work. The China plan is now being reviewed, and no big announcement. But at this moment, this very, very moment, Bakhmut, where the two stars are, is likely to be won by Russia. But both sides are suffering from equipment shortages. Russia claiming, and all my back channels tell me that the West, US has given $111 billion. European $55 billion, $166 billion support to Russia. And Russia, others are claiming, are getting support from North Korea and good drones from Iran. The big question, ladies and gentlemen, where does China and India stand? With all due respect. In the case of China, it is told that if China enters the war and support openly Russia, that will be a game changer. And China knows that, USA knows that, the world knows that. It is reported that the CIA director spoke with his Russian counterpart and told him if Russia goes the nuclear option, it will be very disastrous. The CIA director, the US CIA director, says he understood very clearly that the Russian counterpart understood what that meant. There is a lot of fighting behind the scenes going on. India is making money out of this war, forgetting all the investors who are to come later. India is buying the oil from Russia at $47 per barrel and selling it at double the price. So right now, the oil today is at $85 per barrel. It went up as high as 100. So India is profiting, and the Western world do not like that Indian non-alignment activity. So they've placed pressures on India. India is currently the G20 leader by rotation. It had a group of ministers, finance ministers of the G20, the richest G20 countries. And normally there's a statement at the end of that meeting. But lo and behold, there is disagreement whether it's a war or a military invasion, and the wording were not approved. So the finance minister of India made his own statement. 2 weeks ago, the foreign affairs minister of India had the G20. Similarly, no agreement on a statement at the end, but a minister of foreign affairs, a brilliant minister of foreign affairs, who I'm told will be visiting Guyana, I read in the media reports soon, had to make his own statement. So those are kind of back channels are going. Ladies and gentlemen, this war is destruction to infrastructure, to buildings, to men, women, children, pets, and animals. And it's not getting anyone anywhere. Some people are already believe that some nations like war because war creates activity. You have to spend money to break, and then after you break, then you have to spend money to build. So hopefully better judgment will prevail and that there'll be dialogue. Diplomacy has worked and it will continue to work. And hopefully that dialogue will have respect for both Russia and Ukraine and the whole world. Remember, Ukrainian and Russian are brothers and sisters, aunt and uncles. So both sides are suffering because they're fighting their families. Granted, from all reports, the Ukrainians are hungrier, whereas the Russians are not fighting with that same zest and zeal. So there's a psychological problems that are happening with nations. Can you imagine the effect of that if it was your family or my family? That is the situation. Hopefully our prayers are collective prayers for peace and tranquility with respect to all. Love does multiply. We all know that. Good night. Pleasant dreams.